everyone. Welcome. I am Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator coming to you from Southeast Iowa. And I am so glad you're here, whether you're live or watching the replay. So today is my monthly online card class that everyone can watch. I will be making three cards. So we'll make three cards together. And as we go along, I will let you know how you can get the pre-cut cardstock sent to you for free. So we're making two Christmas cards and one all occasion card today. So as you jump on, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay, please say hi and let me know where you're watching from. So here in Iowa, it is in the 40s today. So not too bad for a fall day. Well, let me turn the camera down and we're going to get started. And then at the end of the video, I have barn chats where I will share some things that's going on here in the studio and from Stampin' Up. So we're going to start with A Child is Born. And today's it's kind of my I have cased the cards today, so I will give credit to those. I have tweaked some of them to be a little bit different, but I got the idea because casing, and in case you don't know what that is, you can copy and share everything, right? So, all right. So today we're going to start with the first card is A Child is Born, and it has lots of different sentiments, and we have the little lambs, and so we're going to start with that. And move the envelope out of the way. So let me show you the card that we're going to make first, our first card. So here is our first card, and this idea came to me from Brandy Cox. So it's a flat card. It doesn't open, but it has a little pocket here. So this card comes out and then it opens up. Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips along the way, show you what I did, a couple things that we're going to not do that when I first made it. So you make a little pocket and all is calm, all is bright, and then you have a little pocket card that you open up and can write your name. So the first thing I will show you on my sample card, notice that I stamped, "O Holy Night, for unto us a child is born, O come, let us rejoice." But you can't see all of this. So that tells me then we're going to do some placement. So when we stamp today, we're going to move this up a little bit so you can see all three of those sentiments. Okay. Then I have another couple other tips as we go along. So that is our first card. So I'm going to bring in everything that you need. Let's just start with, I'm using Night of Navy, and the Night of Navy card base is 4¼ by 5½. And then I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and it is 4 by 5¼ and that is going to layer right there. And then we have another piece of crumb cake, which is 1 3/4 by 2 5/8. And then we have our sentiment strip, and our sentiment strip is 3/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of basic white that I'm going to stamp on. And again, this is my monthly online card class. So, but you can get all the pre-cut card pieces sent to you free from me before by placing a $40 order with me before shipping and handling through Sunday of November 23rd. And you'll get envelopes and plus a recipe card. All right, so we have basic white. We have another piece of basic white and our little card that we're going to fold in half. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And this card, basic white that I'm working with right now that I'm folding in half, the little mini card is 4 1/4 by 6, and I scored it at 3. So it's 4 1/4 by 6, and I scored it at 3. So I'm going to lay this aside and move these out of the way for just right now. And we are going to go ahead and get some layering done. So we're just going to start with layering our basic, our crumb cake. Get that off of there. There we go. So I'm just going to layer our crumb cake on top of our Night of Navy. Let me see. I feel like I still have a little bit of... I haven't been live for a couple of weeks. Last week I was at backstage, and I do have a new glue, but I think there's plenty of glue in here in this one. All right, so we're going to, and then I'm going to get that glue off my thumbnail, if you see that. Get this lined up. All right. Okay, now we're going to lay this aside, and then we are going to bring in our basic white, and this is the large basic white that we're going to stamp on. And let me just measure it for you. See what's down here. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. And we are going to bring in these little stars. But the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to stamp our words. Okay. And I'm going to be using Night of Navy. So I am going to start with Oh Holy Night. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that about right here. Okay, we'll just do that. Turn that over, right? There we go. All right. And then I'm going to do For Unto a Child is Born. And I'll do that just a little bit further down. And then we are going to bring in that crumb cake because it's going to layer about right here. So I want to make sure that I can see all of my sentiments. I do not know why it's... I should probably have put a... Okay, we will just grab another layer. And I think sometimes our piercing mat works better, right? So perfect. All right, let's try this again. And let's see if I can stamp a little bit better by using that piercing mat. So I would say use the piercing mat. So we're going to start with Oh Holy Night. For Unto a Child is Born. And then I am pressing straight down and straight up. And now we're going to use our crumb cake. And we're going to do, "Oh, come, let us adore you." So I'm going to hold it down to count of 3 and straight up. So that's much better. So if you have a piercing mat, if you don't, use a magazine, and then also straight down, hold it a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add some stars. And you want to stamp your words first. That way you know where to put your stars at so you don't cover up your words. So you can just, randomly stamp your stars. Okay, I think that looks fine. All right, so I'm going to lay this aside and we might as well finish our stamping. So let's bring in our sentiment strip that is 3/4 by 2 and 5/8. And we're going to grab "All is Calm, All is Bright." And I'm going to stamp it a little kind of in the middle because I'm going to put a bow on the left side and I'm going to make a little banner on the right. So we'll just kind of do that in the middle. All is calm, all is bright. And then I'm going to bring in some snips and we're just going to cut straight on this end, and then I'm going to cut from this corner up to where I made a straight line, just like that. And then we have a little banner. Okay. Now let's bring in our pool party. I decided to wear my pool party shirt. And so this is 3/4 by 2 and 5/8. And we are going to stamp "When they saw the star, they rejoiced." And I am going to stamp that over on the left, because you don't have to, but I'm going to also make a banner on this one too. So again, to make a banner, you just try to go about in the middle, just cut a straight line, and then from this corner you go up to that line where you cut that slit, and then do the same on the other side. And then you have your banner. Okay. All right. So we have our 2 sentiments done. Now we're going to go ahead and so I have this card, but you do not want to stamp here because we're going to be using Stampin' Blends. And so you want to stamp on this basic white layer first, which is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And now I'm going to switch to, we've been using Night of Navy, but I'm going to use my black ink. And I'm going to bring in our large image. Hi, Judy. Good to see you. Thank you for joining today. So I'm going to use the black ink and we're going to add. Now, when I have a large image, I like to, let me grab my other black. I like to add the ink to the large image. So just lay it flat on your table where you're crafting from, and then just apply the ink to it, to the stamp. That way, I think it just is easier. I want to make sure I get good coverage. And And then I'm going to lay it this way. It's just easier for me to hold. And I'm going to position this. I want to make sure that staff or cane is on my card, even if all of the dress isn't. And then I'm just going to apply pressure and then straight up. So that looks good. And I'm going to lay this aside for just a second. I am going to bring in this little card and I'm going to put a couple of our sheep. And since this is a smaller image, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to ink the stamp up this way. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right at the bottom. Then I'm going to bring our little lamb in. And I'm going to just kind of position that just like that. So that's in our little mini card. And then I have a piece that has an S on it. So if you place an order with me and you get these card pieces, which I'll send to you free by placing at least a $40 order with me, then yours will say an S, so you know which one that you need to stamp on that you're going to be cutting out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the large first, then come in with a little baby lamb. Just like that. And I think I am finished with the black ink. And then I'm going to bring in Petal Pink Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to do an outline. Kind of just go right around. Just give a little color to the lamb and the sheep. So I'm not coloring all of it, just kind of just going along the outline. Yeah, kind of like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And while we're doing that, let's lay that aside. Let's go ahead and do on the inside the same thing. Now, if you wanted to color all of it, you could. I'm using light petal pink. Just gives a little shading, little color. Kind of like that. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead and take our scissors and we will just cut these out. Because today I kind of wanted to make the cards from the beginning to the end. Because if you place an order with me and you get these cards, the card kit, you also will get a recipe card that will have pictures of the cards, the supply list, and the measurements. And then, of course, you'll have this video that how to put the cards together. Okay. And so there aren't any dies with this stamp set, but as you can see, it's just really easy. And what I'm trying to do is to not turn the cardstock and not my scissors so much when I cut this. All right, so we have those cut out, and we're going to use those later. All right, and now I think we have all of our stamping done, so I'm going to move the piercing mat out of the way. But we do have some coloring to do. And I'm going to bring in light and dark pool party. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in light and dark pecan pie, light and dark crumb cake, and we're going to use petal pink too. So, all right. So you can of course color this however you want. I'm going to start with the dark pecan pie, and I'm going to use the kind of, so if you look, you have the like a thick line here, and then you have a thinner line. I'm going to use the thinner line end, and I am just going to go ahead and color the staff. So I'm using light pecan pie. Or I'm using dark rather, I'm sorry. I'm using dark for this. Okay, so I'm using dark, and then I'm going to come back with a light pecan pie, and I'm going to do the hair. Now, if you want to do some shading, you could use the dark and then come back in and with the light. And we will be doing some shading today, but I'm not so much. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the dark back in. I'm going to do a little shading. Just go over. There's some lines that Stampin' Up has already given us. So we will add a little bit right here of dark, and then I'm going to come back with the light. And I'm going to pick that up and kind of blend it in. And I'm going to kind of bring that. One thing about blends, it makes your coloring look excellent, doesn't it? Okay, and I think that is everything with the pecan pie. Well, looks like right here. There we go. All right, so let's get that out of the way. And then I'm going to come back with the dark crumb cake. And we're going to work on this robe. And I'm just going to kind of go over the dark, or use the dark crumb cake on the lines of the robe. And if you say, well, how do you know which is light and which is dark? Well, it does. It tells you this is dark crumb cake. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the baby's blanket here. Just use that dark crumb cake. Then I'm going to come back with the light. And I'm going to use the thicker side. And because there's more to color, so I will just use that thicker. And we will just add the lighter crumb cake. And we can add some more shadowing if we want to by adding some dark. If you want to make a lot of these cards, you could do all your stamping, and you could easily sit and relax and watch TV and do the coloring. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add this to the baby's blanket. Okay, then I'm going to come back with petal pink, and that's what I'm going to use for the faces, light petal pink. Don't forget the hand over here and over here. And I think I'm going to come back with a light, or actually light crumb cake. And I'm going to put these color in these sleeves right here. There we go. All right, and now for the lady, for Mary, we are going to come back with Pool Party, and I'm going to use that thin line. And once again, I am just going to go over those lines that are already there. And color around the edge with the dark, a little shading here. Looks like this is a sleeve here, so I'm thinking this is her hand. So I'm going to come back, and you can't see all of it, but I'm going to come back like that. And then we're going to bring in the light Pool Party, and I'm going to use that thicker line. And I see this is her hair, so we missed her hair, didn't we? You probably saw that and said, don't forget her hair, but I did. But we can fix that. But by adding some dark first, it kind of brings some shading in, and it makes it look more realistic. And if you want this darker, you can go back and add some more, go over it again with Pool Party, and that will make it darker. And then we want to come back with the light pecan pie and get the rest of her hair. And part of the neck is showing here, so we need to add some petal pink. Okay, now I'm going to come back with the dark, just because I want a little more shading here, so I'm going to go over that just a little bit. And then I'm going to just kind of blend this together. Yeah. All right, I think we're finished with that. So we are going to bring in our little card. And so notice on the back how it bleeds through. So that's why you stamp it on the basic white and then you add it to here. Because let me show you, if you don't, then when you open up your card, then you have this. And you don't want to, you don't want the people that receive this card to see that. So another little tip is that is why you go ahead and stamp on here. But we're not quite finished with our stamping, so let me bring in our Night of Navy, because we're going to put a star right above there. So we're bringing in this star. I'll go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. And then I'm just going to put that right up here in the corner, just like that. Looks like I got a little bit too much, but you know what? We'll just put some embellishments there and no one will know, right? Thanks, Judy. I'm glad that you're liking this card. Now we're just basically going to put it together. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder one more time, and then we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive. I'm going to open this up, and place this right inside, or right on the front actually, just like that. And then I'm going to bring our sentiment piece, and we're not popping this up. We are just going to go ahead and add this with it just regular adhesive. And put that right here and put it straight. Okay, we're going to lay this aside, and then we're going to bring in and what we stamped on, and we're going to go ahead and add this to our card. Then we're going to make that pocket. I'll show you how to make that little pocket using that crumb cake strip. So we're layering this on our Night of Navy card base, then our crumb cake layer, and now our basic white that we stamped. Getting it lined up the best I can. And then we're going to make a pocket right here. So we're going to put the edge of this on the edge of the crumb cake. So you'll have the Night of Navy showing around it. So what we're going to do is to turn this over and grab some dimensionals. And I'm going to put it 3 dimensionals on each end of the crumb cake. And then that way it'll pop up and we can put our little pocket card in there. So let's take the backings off. Those backings just want to stay around, don't they? All right, and so then we're going to kind of get it lined up how we want it. And then press that down. And then we have a little pocket where our card will fit right in there. But look what I did. You also need to put dimensionals there, don't you? Otherwise, your pocket card will just flip right through. All right, so let's grab some dimensionals. And I'm just going to go ahead and put them right at the edge. Right like this. We'll just add 3. Remember, there's no mistakes in crafting. We can fix it. Okay. So we have 3 dimensionals here, 3 here, and we put 3 across the bottom. Don't forget to put it across the bottom or your pocket card will slip out. Okay, so now there we go. All right, but now we want to add our all is calm and all is bright. So I'm going to slip that out right now. And we are going to add our adhesive. And I'm going to put that, line this up with the edge of the crumb cake, just like that. Then I am going to pop up our little sheep here at the bottom. Hello, Judy Pool. Oh, I'm glad that you like this, the one I'm working on. Well, yes, you can learn. I do find that it is better with using a Stampin' Pierce mat to stamp the sentiments, or you can use like a magazine if you don't have it. But yeah, it's really quick and easy once you there's several little pieces to it, but once you get started, it really is an easy card. And then we're going to snuggle. We're going to snuggle the little lamb right like that. And then let's bring in some linen thread. And I'm going to do a double bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fold it in half like this. So I have it like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece here. And then I'm going to tie a bow. And then I'm going to hold the middle. I'm going to pull the little ties. And then I'm going to maybe, there we go. Just kind of pull on them there and pull again. There we go. And I can cut these in a second. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a glue dot. And we will. Now you can bring the glue dot to, you can bring the glue dot here, or we can, I can grab my, take your pick tool, which I think I'll do, and just kind of roll it around. And then I'm going to kind of put it here where on the glue dot, just go ahead and stick it on my, where I want my bow to be. And, oh, couldn't find my bow. It was laying on my card. So I'm going to need to, I'm going to do it this way with my little bow, or you can make it smaller if you want to. Get those little pieces out of the way, and then let's put, so we have our little pocket card, and then we take it out. We have a holy night, for unto us a child is born. Come, let us adore him. All is calm, all is bright. And then let's add some embellishments. And I am using the traditional sparkling sequins. And I'm going to use that pool party. These will be coming back. I think they may be out of stock right now, but they will be coming back so soon. So I am going to pick up this right here and get it laid. There we go. And then I did have some small ones, but it looks like I've used all the pool party small ones. And if I hadn't, I would go ahead and add them here. But I'm really not sure that you really can notice that I kind of over stamped it and got a little bit of extra ink there. I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to put one here and pick one up, and let's put it over here. So here is our first card. All calm, all is bright. And you write your sentiment inside. So I hope you like this card. I have 2 Christmas cards to make today and 1 all occasion. So this is a Christmas card, and then the next card I'm going to make is an all occasion. And then I'll make the last one I'll make is a, not only is it a Christmas card, but my last card is also a gift card holder. All right, so let me put this out of the way and we'll grab the next one. Now, as I mentioned, here's the next card that we're going to make today. As I mentioned, that I'm kind of casing today from different people. And so this card idea came from Jackie Bolheis, and it is an all occasion thinking of you. But you could put, actually, we're going to change that sentiment today because the thinking of you, I think I used a retired set, and I want to use a current set with everybody. So we're using the Glass and Gardens embossing folder. I already have the embossing done for us to save some time. And then we're using Gathering Moments, and we're going to put thankful for you today. You have many thanks, expressing heartfelt gratitude. Your friendship means the world to me. Gather, and you have some leaves, an acorn, and some leaves and different things. So this is what we're going to use, and it is a cling stamp, although we are Stampin' Up is going to not make any more. Just it's been difficult for them to get the materials to make that. But this is called Gathering Moments, and it does have dies that come with. And I love this die here. You can even we're not using it today, but you can lace, you know, uh, string through there, so thread, and then it has another one. So this is a great set of dies. We are going to use this die here because we're going to be cutting a leaf today for our card. And then I'm also using the 2 3/8 circle punch. And so get our stamps out here. And we're going to be using 2 inks today for this card, Crushed Curry and Cajun Craze. Really pretty fall colors, aren't they? Okay, so let me go ahead and we will get started. Hi, Brandy. It's good to see you. I just cased one of your cards and gave you credit for that. You may have missed it. So again, this is my monthly card class. And you can get, I will send you the pre-cut card pieces just like this, plus an envelope and a recipe card with pictures and dimensions and the supplies that you need by placing a $40 order with me. I will send this to you absolutely free before your $40 order before shipping and tax. And if you place at least $50 or more order with me, I will also send you a package of embellishments. And the ordering special goes through Sunday, November 23rd. So we're going to start with a basic beige card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4. And to save time, I've already run this through our embossing folder. And notice that it doesn't emboss all of it, but that's okay because we're going to cover up part of it. So this pretty part is going to show. So I'm going to go ahead and just layer that right on top. And the basic beige is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And we embossed it with that Glass and Garden embossing folder. So we'll just add some adhesive. And we'll get it as straight as we can. And then I'm going to bring in a Cajun Craze, and this is 1.5 by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that, I think about right here. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. It can be. You can just make it your card, right? It's your card, so you can make it like you want. So I'm kind of aiming, sort of, well, I think there's a little bit less. I want this pretty to show, so we're going to kind of put it about right there. Then we're going to lay this aside. Now, I'm not going to add an inside layer. You could, but I think basic beige is light enough that you can write your message and people can see. So you're going to need, which I've already punched out, basic beige circle using that 2 3/8 punch. And I already have 3 pieces of early espresso cardstock, which is cut at 1 1/8 by 3 1/8. So we're going to do some layering. And then I'm using the beautiful Designer Series paper which from Gathering Moments, which is called Gathering Together. And I didn't grab the paper to show you, but it is beautiful. And the Designer Series paper is 1 by 3. So you're going to need 3 of each of those. Now I am going to bring in my silicone craft sheet, which I like to use when I'm working with small pieces. So the adhesive, if I get any not on where I want it to be, it'll be on the silicone craft sheet, not on my work surface. All right, so now we're going to add some adhesive. We're just going to layer the Designer Series paper to the cardstock. So if you don't have the silicone craft sheet, you might want to add that to your order, because what I like about it, if you get any adhesive on here, once it dries, it just rubs right off. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Now you're just going to see just a little bit of a hint of the early espresso cardstock. So it just like that. Oh, thanks, Brandy. I'm glad that you like the card. I may need to open, why don't we do that? Let's just go ahead and open the new bottle. So when you get a new bottle, you just peel that right off and you're ready to go. I thought maybe I had enough to last through the video today, but I knew it was getting low. And they last a long time because you think they're empty, but you shake them and you can get more. So before I press that down, I'm making sure that I have early espresso showing on all 4 sides. Again, the early espresso is 1 1/8 by 3 1/8, and you need 3 of the early espresso cardstock, and then the Designer Series paper is 1 by 3. I think I got a little too much adhesive right there, so I'm just going to kind of do like that, put it in the middle so it doesn't squish out and get on our early espresso cardstock. So another little tip. And you could always take a Q-tip, and if you get too much adhesive, and take some off before you use it. Okay. All right, now I think we're ready for some stamping. So we're going to bring in our leaf, and we're going to stamp a leaf in Cajun Craze. And I may not need both of the, I brought in 2 scraps to basic white to stamp on. But I don't think I'll need, I think I can get both the leaves on one piece of. But I do need to clean. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Since I'm going to use a stamp again, I want to clean it first, because if you don't clean it first, that's what happens. Then you have, so we want to clean this before we ink up our leaf in our next color. Just like that. Okay. We're going to use a third ink, early espresso, um, because we're going to do our sentiment in early espresso. Now, what I'm going to do is that I am going to need to die cut. So I'm bringing our little mini cut and emboss. Isn't this mini so cute? Now, if you can only get one cut and emboss machine, I would go for the big one because it cuts everything. So the mini cut and emboss is great for traveling, and it will cut a lot of dies, but it doesn't do everything. Another thing, I love how Stampin' Up! Has the directions here. So you can, we're going to use plate 1, and we're going to use plate 2, and then we're going to place our leaf. And of course, I only have one die, so we'll do one at a time. I like to use these little sticky notes. Some people like washi tape. There's other kind of tapes that you can use, but just so it doesn't move, I like to just put a little piece of tape there, and then we'll just run this through. And then we have one leaf, and now we'll do their second one. So and you always have the flat of the dies facing you. So this is the flat. We use that same sticky note. Put the plate 2 on top, and then we just run it right through. Let me move this out of the way. And now we have our 2 leaves. All right, so I'm going to kind of just position our leaves so I know where I want to stamp my sentiment. So our sentiment's going to go down below, and we're going to bring in our thankful for you. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and it's going to put it about right here. Just like that. Okay, now we're ready to put our card together. So we are going to pop our 3 strips up using dimensionals. But let's just go ahead and get placement. Just like that. And then the one in the middle, I'm going to use some linen thread. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just kind of wrap it around. So I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. You can wrap it around and then you could tie a bow, but we are going to do a little bit different. So I'm going to turn this over on the back. And then I'm going to grab a dimensional. And guess we need to cut this off. There we go. We'll still need that in a second. So I wrapped it around, and then we're going to make kind of like a fake bow, and I will show you how to do that. So we're going to add 3 dimensionals. Now you could also wrap it around and then tie a bow. But we made this card at my in-person card class, and I found the ladies preferred the way I'm going to show you. So, and easy is always better, right? And I'm going to add a dimensional on the Cajun Craze. I am not going to on the crushed curry, And then we might as well, I think I'll wait to add on that. Okay. All right. So here we go. So this is one, put it in the middle or in the end, and this is going to go in the middle. And I already took the backings off of this one I have in my hand, but I want to get them. So the trick is to get them lined up straight. And so we will just put that about right here. And then we'll use this one to guide our other ones. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and make that bow I told you about. So we're taking the end of our linen thread and we're just going to kind of go underneath. So we're going to raise these up and we're going to go underneath and then we're going to tie a bow. Okay, so tie a knot. And then go ahead and tie your bow. There we go. Hang on to the middle, pull the bow to the size that you want it. And there you go. You can make it, you can play with it, make it get a, just like you want, get a little smaller. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. All right. Hope that doesn't look quite straight. But we just may go with it. All right. Looking straight down it, I usually have to put the card up at my eye level to find out if it's straight or not, which I probably should have done. But it's handmade, right? So there we go. And then we'll put the other one right here. And by the time we get the sentiment and everything, you won't know that one of them is a little bit crooked. We just won't tell anyone, right? All right, so I'm looking here to make sure that they're kind of even. And then we are going to put this about right here. And what the reason I didn't want to put any dimensionals where it was going to go here, so I wanted to wait and see that I need to put dimensionals on this side and kind of on this side. So on each side is where I want the dimensionals to be, if that makes sense. So it will catch the card. So we'll just put 2 on each side. And then take those backings off. And we're going to put, see, it's going to cover up. So it's all good. It's all good. We are going to add a little adhesive on this. And then we are going to get the glue bottle that has adhesive on it, but I may grab the wrong one, but we got some. It's all we need. All right, so we're going to add kind of, I like to slant that just a little bit. And then we're going to take the backings off the other leaf. And kind of put it like that. Thinking of you. And then let's bring in these Cajun craze and gold embellishments. And can you tell that I love these? Look, I've used almost all of them. They are beautiful. They have flecks of gold in them. They are so pretty. much prettier than I can show on camera. Oh, Judy, you like the plaid? You know, I have a weakness for plaid. I like plaid too. So I am with you. I think I'm going to put one right there. I know it already is a focal point and has a lot going on, but we'll just put one here and one right there. All right, this is our second card. And then our third card, I think you're really going to like it. You have to let me know which one is your favorite. And it's going to be a Christmas card, and it's a gift card holder, and it is fast and easy. All of these cards are quick and easy. So thankful for you, and you can write inside. So this is our second card. And let me get this out of the way and grab our third card. So we're going to be using the Gingerbread Man. Isn't that so cute? And there are lots of dies for the Gingerbread Man. Wow, wow, wow. Now we are going to just use two. We're going to use the hat, and you have a couple of different bow ties to go with, but we're going to use this one here. We are using the cane, but I already have that to save time cut out for you. But this is what we're going to use. And I am going to be using this package here. It is the Christmas Greetings Mix and Match. You get 10 cards, 10 card bases and envelopes. So you get 5 of the garden green, and then you also get 5 of crumb cake. And I'm going to show you the card that I used in garden green, but we're going to make the card using the crumb cake base. So, you ready to see the card? Here is the card. And it has Baking Spirits Bright, and it has a little bow ribbon. So you undo it, you open it up, Seasons Eating, put your gift card right in here, and then this comes out. You have a little pocket here, and you can write your message. And so here's a happy, here's, so you put your greeting, now you could just tuck some money in there. You could tuck a gift card in there if you wanted to. So let me show you how quick and easy this is to make. And we're going to start. We have a card base. And did I tell you that you also have these beautiful envelopes? Aren't they pretty? So you'll get this with everything in there that you need if you place an order with me and I send this to you. So I'm going to lay this aside, and then I am going to show you how, because we're going to need to score this to make our pocket. So I'm going to bring in our trimmer, and we are going to score on the short, we're going to score on the short side. So this is the short side. So we're going to put this in here at 5 1/4. So we're going to put it in at 5 1/4. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in our lighter blade, which is our scoring blade. And then I'm going to score up and down. So you put it in, this is a shorter edge at the top. So put the shorter edge in and score it at 5 1/4. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold that up. And then you can use adhesive. I'm going to use tear and tape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little piece of tape on each of the ends, and then right here on the score line of the card base. So we can go ahead and fold this in half. So you can fold your card base in half, and then you have this goes up like this. Okay. So that's how we're going to make our pockets. So let me find, here we go. So we're just going to add a little tear and tape on this end. Now the other end. And that went over just a little bit, but that's okay. We can just take some scissors. There we go. And then I'm going to I think I've got tape on my. All right. Then we're going to put that right on that score line. Okay. So can you see that? We have tear and tape on this end, in the middle, and that end. And then I'm going to take my bone folder because I really want to make sure that we get a good cover, like the tape is good and secure. And then I'm going to bring in our take your pick tool. And just take that top off. And then I am just going to fold this up. And again. And now you have two little pockets. How cute is that? All right, now we're going to lay this aside, and we're going to bring in a piece of crumb cake that I have die cut using the textured note dies. So I did the next to the largest. So next to the largest, you're going to have the textured note dies, and that just gives you a little bit of an edge. And once again, I'm casing this. So the first card I cased was using Brandy Cox idea. The second card was Jackie Boheis, and this card is from I got the idea from Rhonda Wade. So we're going to bring in the Gingerbread Man. And we're going to use pecan pie. So this is crumb cake cardstock with pecan pie. So I'm just going to go ahead. It's our largest block that we have. I rarely use it, but it's perfect for this. So I'm taking my ink and I'm going to go my pecan pie, and I'm going to add it to the stamp. And I'm going to kind of make it at an angle. And so, but you can do it straight up, but okay. Just like that. And then we're going to add some buttons. We want to add some eyes. You have several choices. So you can, there's one winks and smiles and like, oh my. So you have choices for, but I'm using pecan pie. So we'll put some buttons. I'm going to put the buttons kind of low because I want for the bow tie to go, so you can see that. We add that. And then we're going to make a little smiley face. So we'll put that right here, just like that. Isn't he cute? We're going to lay him aside for a second. And then I'm going to bring back our card base, and we're going to bring our basic beige ribbon, and we are going to wrap it around our card base. So we've got our card base, made our 2 pockets. Now we're going to wrap this around and tie a bow. And I think I have plenty. So I'm going to put those. Okay, so I've wrapped it around, and now I am going to tie a bow. All right, and you can cut if you need to. I might make the bow bigger next time, but we got that. So now I'm going to put adhesive here, and that will keep our bow in place. So that will keep, see, just like that. So that's what we're going to do next. And then we will just add some decorations to our little gingerbread guy. And add some sentiments. And I'm going to, again, I stamped him at an angle, and I'm going to put him at an angle. Just like that. And then I'm going to bring in my little silicone mat, because I went ahead and die cut the 2 candy canes, one in white, one in red. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on those white. You could use glue dot. That would work too. Okay. So then I am going to add our real red cardstock candy cane. Just like that. Okay. And then we are going to add that about right there. Just add some adhesive. And we'll put that right on his hand. Just like that. And then let's go ahead and do our die cutting, because we need a hat and we need a bow. So you know what I like about this? I can do both. I have a piece of pretty and pink cardstock for the bow, and I have a piece of real red for the hat. And I can die cut both of these at the same time. Don't you love when you can do that? All right. So we have our hat and our bow, and we're set to go. Now, if it stays in here, just take your pick tool or something to poke through there, and it's easy to come out. So again, this is my online monthly card class. I do this once a month, where then I offer to send the kit pre-cut cardstock to you free when you place an order with me, plus a recipe card that you can print. All right, let's go ahead and we're just going to add the little hat. I'm going to use glue dots for this. You can use adhesive, but if you notice, there's some lines there, and I don't know, I just feel like it's easy to get the adhesive to go through the hat. So I just find that I like using glue dots for this. So I'm just picking that up, and we're just going to put his little hat on, and then I'm going to add his bow, and I'm going to turn it a little bit like this so you can see. And you could use glue dots or adhesive. I mean, either one would work. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little adhesive. And I thought I put those little buttons down enough, didn't I? But we're just going to go ahead and do it like that. And now we need to bring in a strip and our circle. So I have punched out basic white and real red using circle punches. And so let's see, I'm not sure, maybe I think 1 7/8 I have. All right, so let me grab our sentiments, and we're going to use pecan pie. And we're going to put Baking Spirits Bright, ink that up. And I'm going to put that kind of in the middle because I'm going to cut the ends to make it a little more interesting. And then we're going to, on the basic white, we're going to add Seasons Eatings. Just like that. And I think we're finished with that. So let's go ahead and just add some adhesive on our circle, basic white, and layer that on our real red. Circle that we punched out. And then I am just going to start here and go up to this tip, just kind of like that. And then I'm going to do the same. Whoop. Let's do it this way. And then I am going to pop this up with dimensionals. So really, this card is quick and easy to put together. And I think it is so cute. My sample is using garden green, so I wanted you to see the crumb cake too. All right, and so isn't that cute? We're going to add some embellishments in just a second, but let's go ahead and finish the inside. So the inside, we're going to go ahead and here You just have to add adhesive on the bottom half. So you have enough, so you don't want to put adhesive over all of it or you won't be able to get your gift card in there. So we're just going to add some adhesive down here on the bottom of our circle. Just like that, and hold that a second. And then we're going to bring in a basic white cardstock along with our garden green cardstock. And garden green cardstock is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then our basic white is 3 1/4 by 4.5. So again, garden green, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And our basic white is 3 1/4 by 4.5. And this is where you're going to add your message to the person that you're giving this card to. So we're going to layer the basic white right on top of the garden green. Now, actually, I could have made this crumb cake but I like the green and the red because those are kind of traditional colors. So I kind of like that. So we're going to put that right in here for you to write your message. Your gift card goes here. And then you close it up and you tie a bow. And then only thing we need to do is add embellishments. Then we'll look at all the cards. And I'd love for you to let me know which one that you like the best. All right, let's add. We're adding the delightful decorative dots. I've got half a package here. And so I've been using this pointy end, but you can also use the putty end to pick up. Oh gosh, which color should we use, right? That is the question. I don't know, maybe the red. The red, or we'll use the red, I guess. We already have a lot of red. But I like that red. And there we go. All right, so here is card 3. And then this was the, whoop, put that in the pocket. This was our sample card. So look, what I forgot to do was to add a little bow. I added a double bow, but I think right now to save time, we're just going to just tie a bow using linen thread. So we use linen thread on all of these cards, although you wouldn't have to use linen thread. And then I'm going to just bring a glue dot to my bow this time. So I've showed you some different ways. And then we're just going to put that right here on our card. So here is the garden green, and then we made one today together using the crumb cake. And of course you could cut these a little bit. All right, let's look at all 3 cards. So here is our first card, which is a pocket card. All is calm, all is bright. And then you write your message in here. And then our second card was an all occasion, thankful for you. And then our third card was another Christmas card using Gingerbread Man Baking Spirits Bright. You'll have to let me know which one that you like the best. Oh, Judy, I'm glad you like the gingerbread boy. Yeah, I do too. I think he's cute. Hi, Sheila. Glad you're watching. Thanks for being here. So let me go ahead and let you let me know which card that you like the best. And so it is time for barn chats. Notice the bag over here is what I received from Backstage. It was at Backstage last week, and so let's see. So we are going to do barn chats. And that just means I'm going to share with you some things going on here at Rustic Barn Cards from Stampin' Up. And instead of doing it at the beginning, I like to get stamping so I can give you some value. And so we kind of put this at the end. But just really quick, Backstage, it was my first time attending Backstage. It was last week, and it was an event from Stampin' Up. They had great keynote speakers and breakout sessions, and I was able to see some of my friends that live out of state, plus meet lots of new friends. And as some of you know, that I work with 3 other demonstrators from other countries, but Connie Douglas is one that I work with, and she lives in Canada. She also attended Backstage, so it was so wonderful to hang out with her in person, and we had a lot of fun together. And I learned so much from Backstage, so I can't wait to implement some of that. So stay tuned for that. And I'd like to thank all of you, my customers and my members of Rustic Barn Stampers, for helping me to achieve so I could attend Backstage. And I appreciate that. From Stampin' Up, there are new online exclusives that has been released the first of this month in November. So if you haven't looked at those, go on to the Stampin' Up shop and click online exclusives, and you'll see some brand new products. And also the 12 weeks of Christmas that I team up with Connie Douglas, I just talked about, plus Sarah Boland from Australia from Handmade After Dark. You can still take part of that if you're not an email subscriber of mine. If you already subscribe to my emails, then you'll get this week's email with a video tutorial and a PDF to print out tomorrow on Wednesday. So I send those out on Wednesday, but it is not too late to sign up to get that free tutorial and video every Wednesday. And you don't have to worry if you miss some, because I always list all of them for you from the previous ones. So there's a link in the description to sign up if you're not an email subscriber. Again, if you would like the pre-cut cardstock to make one each of all 3 cards that I created today, you can place an order with me now through midnight on Sunday, November 23rd, and I will send you the Make and Take kit absolutely free. It's a $40 order before tax and shipping. If your order is over $50 before tax and shipping, I will also send you a current package of embellishments. And the kits will go out on next Tuesday, so you can have time to put them together and get them sent to someone before Christmas. All right. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, or follow or like my Facebook page. It really helps to get my videos out, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for your help. Thanks for being here today and hanging out with me and crafting. I had a great time, and I will see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. So take care, and bye for now.